Our next opponent is Austria, and that's more kind of title team. I'm looking at their lineup that they just published the boards, the pairings. We are going in exactly the same. We're going with exactly the same lineup, I think. Yeah. So double checking that. Yeah, I think exactly the same lineup. But if you're looking at our opponents compared to the previous round, so we have all completely titled team, 3 international masters on boards 1, 2, and 5, and then like there are 3 women players who are also all titles. So like there is 2 women FIDE masters and there is 1 woman international master, right? So basically, it's going to be a very difficult fight. So let's see if we can already see the boards. And it's coming up probably in a second. So, okay, let me just probably close these things. All of the previous matches boards. Okay, and try to rebuild it again. I think it should start any moment now. So, as we continue in yeah, like we are going for the new next round, and let's see how we are going to stack up. I'm looking at the ratings. It's actually probably quite evenly matched on most boards, right? I think like the bottom board, the board number 6 is we are going to be outranked in most of the matches, but it probably also doesn't tell much because if you're comparing the younger players, their ratings are very unpredictable. You know, like they can go up and down and so on and so forth. So I see that the board has started. So we will be commenting and like let me get back to you in a second. Okay, so what we're seeing here, so like the Bogolyubov defends what they call Bogo Indian with black. So, and I know that Jing Yao is playing that relatively often. I played it myself against him with white. Even though like he also plays other stuff, but yeah, like Nimsa Indian and Boga Indian is part of his standard repertoire. In general, this is like something where black has a good chance of equalizing, or I would probably say that it's usually just a tiny bit better for white in most situations, right? So it's really kind of these a bit of a challenge for black for finding like active game. So let's see the other games that are already started. So I don't see the second board for some reason. So we will probably skip that and go to board 3 right away. Okay, like another Sicilian dragon type of position. And yeah, I would probably, it's kind of interesting. I can almost say the same thing that I was doing in the previous round. Black is probably a little worse, like this Marathy structure is offers white more space and stable advantage. So, but okay, it's obviously not the end of the world, but black needs to be careful because like having like a less space and you need to find some counterplay, right? So at some point of time, this is going to be an interesting challenge for black just finding the counterplay. All right, let's move to board 4. So, okay, we were talking about that in the previous match, I think like yesterday when we were playing Slovakia, and that was the same opening on the board. So Hazel is playing this kind of a Jabava system, which is characterized by d4, knight c3, and bishop f4. And okay, black basically was, you can say, forced to spend the tempo on a6 that probably otherwise you wouldn't really want. But the eternal question, the eternal argument is like whether the knight on c3 is such a great piece, and what's next for that knight on c3, right? So okay, well, one of the way to solve this problem is just like to kind of completely change the character of the game. So white just took on c5. So let's maybe just kind of put a few lines on the board here. So I think e6 is the most natural move, trying to win back the pawn. And white cannot quite keep it, I think, right? So like, let's just like say like knight a4, like can always do this. I mean, okay, well, probably white can claim that that's a little bit of an advantage for like you got two bishops, right? But okay, black probably is also not doing too badly. The only thing that she would need to do is somehow to push e5 at some point, because otherwise the bishop on c8 is going to be really a bad piece. So maybe even like, okay, like the white probably is going to play something like bishop d3, and if I were black, I would probably even already take a step back and try to push e5 right away, right? I think white is a little better in this position. I don't know whether that happened already or not. Okay, well, black is playing something completely different. So she decided to actually develop the bishop first. Smart, because now I think she can do the same thing. She can play e6, and in the variation that I was showing, she would already, yeah, exactly. That's what's happening. Like maybe let's also put these lines on the boards. So instead of e6, so she went bishop g4. And by the way, I would try to kind of grab that pawn on c5 with everything I can. I mean, if you're taking on c5, you probably, yeah, at least you want to suffer. You want to have something to show for that. Oh no, e5. Sorry, I'm my bad. That was a stupid proposal. E5 and then e4 is no. That's going to be unpleasant. Okay, so then bishop e2 is probably forced. But okay, then can black already do something like that? That's interesting. That can be scary actually. No, that's probably too optimistic. I mean, probably I wouldn't do that. Okay, so just play e6, take back the pawn, and do everything as I was saying in the previous variation. So like, for example, if white is doing the same thing, black at least can already claim, okay, I got my bishop out of the pawn chain. White has two bishops, but it doesn't really matter. The position is still quite closed. There is only one pawn exchange. So black is doing all right, I think. So let's check if that's what. Yeah, I think like we're seeing that variation on the board that I was just kind of showing on the board. So not sure if that's going to happen exactly like that, but that seems to be going in that direction. So switching to the next board, so board number 5, I guess. And okay, well, that's unpleasant actually. I'm not sure I really like black's position. Although, I mean, okay, it's again not the end of the world. And I think I see Ashwin is coming online, so hopefully his game is going to start sometime around now, because otherwise I don't see it on the board. But yeah, okay, like black, let's just get back to this position, analyze what Qing Daung has here. Black bishop is a bit stuck here, and you white is probably going to play something like white wants to get let's say knight to d6, or at least control the d file. But okay, the downside for white is also like if you don't do anything, black will just probably, okay, let's also open that as a position for analysis. So like, for example, knight e5 is not getting us anywhere. So forced to go back, and then like you play b6, and the next one is bishop b7. I think black is all right. So knight d6, bishop, rook d8, and yeah, it's no big deal. I mean, like it's probably very equal, right? So what else white can do? They can play c4, but the same thing, I will just play b6. So maybe I was actually too pessimistic looking at the position, and like the fact that white is thinking, it's probably showing that it's yeah, the same thoughts for white players. So like, okay, you have a temporary advantage a little bit ahead on development, but what do you make of it? If you cannot prevent like b6 or like bishop b7, or let's say there's also an option like bishop d7 c6, then black is doing fine. So yeah, okay, so that's probably going to be a long battle ahead, an end game battle. And the last board, Charlene is playing, and I think again it started as a French defense with d3. So bishop g2. It's actually very unusual. Usually, like if you play knight f6, usually people connect it with bishop e7 or bishop d6, right? Both of them are possible. They have slightly different kind of pluses and minuses. But basically, yeah, like you would play, like, for example, bishop d6, queen c7, then castle, and then you're kind of trying to prevent white from playing e5 right away. But g6, when people play g6, usually the knight is here and the bishop is here. And I don't even know why exactly, but I always done it like that myself. It probably kind of makes sense. Like you also, it's perfectly fine if you want to, like, for example, scroll ahead. So for example, here, white, it cannot really play e5, even though that's a standard plan, but they cannot play e5 because, you know, like knight goes to d7 and the pawn is under attack. And probably not enough to attack it. So yeah, there you go. That's why white is doing like some extra preparation and also playing c3. So maybe here you can already play after black play a5. So let's say in this position, I would probably even already think about playing something like that, even though that's probably fine for black because yeah, I think like the whole point was like preparing for exploiting these, like maybe play b6, white will have to do this. And yeah, okay, well, you don't want to allow knight b4, but if you play knight like a3, for example, to prevent, then you black can do something like this, and then like there is a lot of weak white squares, light squares, so yeah, it's probably not ideal. Let's put it like that. So yeah, so white continues preparing, but then if you are not pushing e5, the question is like, what exactly is white plan, right? So okay, so she played bishop g5, queen c7, and let's see if there are more moves on the board. Yeah, I mean, okay, like both sides are waiting, but I think like if that's the situation, probably black has a little more ways to improve her position. Like, I don't know, maybe even e6, h6 is already deserving attention. d6, h6, bishop a4 on the other hand, e5, and then I don't know what's going on. It actually would be an interesting thing to check. Let's go back there. So like knight a3, let's just put these moves on the board. I don't want to take, right? Like, I mean, that would be a concession. Although, no, wait a second, there is a pawn hanging. Stupid me. So actually, h6 is not the move. And you probably cannot play rook. I wanted to play rook d8, but then you need to calculate something like that, and that can be. I actually don't know what's going on here again, because the bishop is hanging. So like I wanted to play knight d5 originally, but instead I will have to play something like that, and then I'm not sure I have enough compensation. I mean, okay, the line can continue. There is also bishop c7, but it's all very strange. So probably rook d8 is kind of working, but it's not an easy move to play, you know? Like that if e takes d or e5 is always like hanging, like it's a scary move to make. Let's see whether it happened or not. No, black is still thinking. Black is still thinking. So yeah, there you go. Okay, so not sure what's happening with the game for Ashwin. If he's actually started or not, or let me double check. Let me give me a second. Checking the okay, there is no results. So sorry, I'm getting a little bit distracted here. Okay, let's just reassess. Let me let's check if Ashwin is playing, and it's rapid. Oh, he's not playing in round 5. Sorry, my bad. Oh my goodness, it's actually yeah. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Then I need to yeah. Actually, I did miss a change in our lineup for round 2. Thanks for pointing it out. Somebody just pinged me on WhatsApp. I will just rebuild then the command I'm using for tracking all the games. So I was thinking I'm missing something, and I am. Okay, let's try it. Let's try it once again. Let's just close everything that I was watching and start anew. Apologies for that. So yep, we are missing one player. 1, 2, 3, 4. No. Okay, now one down even more. I'm not getting. Today is like apparently a bad technology day on my side. Now double check again if I got everybody correct. And no, I did not. I did not. Okay. Me and my programming skills are really deserting me today. Okay, let's try again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And try again. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Okay, and I even got them in the right order. Okay, so that's the game that I was missing. So yeah, so Sengi on board 2, and we had a very funky kind of Karakan, not the most popular one, and like I never quite understood it, but I know people who play it and kind of really like it and are comfortable with that. For me, like these kind of like these pawn setup, you're giving up the pawn advantage on the queen side from get go, but okay, at least we can argue you have like an easier development for black. So yeah, what we have here, and bishop g4. Yeah, I think this is pretty standard. I know that even at some point, like white sometimes play like g4 and like exchange on like, and then like it's really maybe to show that it's like that's a visually pleasing pawn configuration, like like a little bit of a box here. It's not bad for black, by the way. It's like unless you can quickly attack it like with something like h4, h5, or yeah, like it's actually pretty safe for black king. So like you only do it with white if you really know what you're doing. And he went actually back to, you see, like he had to go back to e2. He thought that he was probably in his best interest, which okay, at least there's a loss of tempo. And yeah, and he couldn't also play bishop d2 here because of this. That's a nasty trick. Let's show it to the end. So you're going here, 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 and yep, black is just a piece up. So he had to play rook e1, and I don't know why black didn't play f4, frankly speaking. I probably would. But okay, I don't know. enough about this variation. So like I'm not a best expert on this system. So what happened here instead? And even here, black is stubbornly refusing to play f4. So I think the idea is like they are trying to kind of get this um, outpost on e4 and put, I don't know, like maybe a knight here. In the game, he actually just put the rook there, and yeah, okay. Well, you can argue black is doing fine at the very least, right? So yeah. So let's see what's happening there. So knight g5. Okay. White also kind of points that there is another weakness, and you can always just like maybe just even kind of exchange everything. So like let's say black has to move back the rook, right? So you probably go rook e7. I don't see any other move really, and then you can take on c5, take several times, exchange all the pieces. Okay, let's put it on the board again. So rook e7. I don't know if I want to, but let's say that just for the sake of argument. And here I will just take. Black takes, I don't know, let's say with everything is being exchanged. And what's the evaluation of this position? I don't know, but I would kind of assume that white is still better because you have pawn majority on the queen side, right? And yeah, so if, let's say, imagine you exchanging all the pieces, right? White is clearly winning. I mean, obviously that's far away. And another thing is that in the end game, again, I'm not saying that this is like a universal truth, but when I was a kid, my coach is always saying like the queen and the knight are a better pair than like a queen and a bishop, because basically the queen and the bishop are kind of duplicating each other, right? While the knight and the queen are really kind of complementing each other. Again, don't take it as at face value. Like for example, in this particular position, it's probably not as easy. Black will play just queen a4, and white is already kind of struggling, has to push back. You don't want to take, because then the end game is probably in black's favor. I don't know. Interesting. At least at the very least, it's one option where the game might develop. And oh, look at that. It is developing in that direction. At least I'm guessing some of the moves for the players. So that's a good news. So all right. All right, board number 3. Ooh, look at that. There has been a lot of changes. So black decided to go for, could have been actually miscalculation maybe, because why do you want to, like, I can understand like if you can follow it with something like knight e4, or like let's say take on c3 in some variations, and sometimes it's working, but not here. And she played bishop g4 here. And okay, like the tactical justification, let's see. So, okay, well, one thing to remember is that we are dealing here with a super tricky player, right? So with black in our team, so that is not working because that's a double attack. How do you create the arrows here? And does it work? I can play bishop d4, and then e5, b4, and queen c7. I think, oh, it doesn't end here as usual. b6. Oh my goodness, that's a mess. Maybe bishop a7. Maybe that even works, you know? Unless I'm missing something even wilder, like, I don't know, like maybe rook c3 is a thing. And then take here. I mean, okay, that's probably not as scary for white if I were white. But okay, like bishop a7 is kind of on general ground. So looks very scary. And there could be something that I'm really just missing here. Let's say, like, for example, you like an alternative version, you can do here something like that. Although that's not much. Yeah, okay, like, but bishop a7 looks scary. So like, the white player decided not even to check, like trusted that there is enough there. But the question is like, okay, so you close the diagonal, so the bishop g7 is no longer like a threat to attack on c3. So you can take on a e3, but is it really worth a pawn? So, and I think that's what happened here. And the question is still whether white can untangle everything, right? And whether black has enough compensation. Let's check if there is anything wrong with something like queen d3. I don't see anything wrong, but yeah, and then I want to play knight e3 next, right? Okay, so let's check if this is indeed what's going on the board. Oh, look at that. There was a lot of, like, while I was talking, queen e3, bishop e6. Okay, white player decided for something else. So not queen d3. So she went forward, but okay, then I don't really like what white was doing, because like, yeah, knight d5, and you just win the pawn back. At the very least, I mean, you can argue if white has a positional advantage or anything, but black is not doing too badly here. Okay, well, and actually, I mean, okay, you can play f5 because it's pinned, right? But yeah, so I think that's what she's doing. Like, I'm not sure I really wanted to play rook c3 first, queen e4, and then king h8, and then she went f5, and probably the next move is going to be something like rook fc8, or maybe e4. You know, like that's also an option. Oh, like look at that. I guessed correct, and she was blitzing that. Well, it kind of makes sense, right? So you open. Now you are connecting really, like your bishop is in play, and yeah, like you'll probably take. So black is at least not worse here. Whether she's better is an open question, but I would, at this position, I would probably already prefer black, because like you can probably try to get like bishop on d4. Well, that's also a question how you do it. That's an interesting question. Yeah, maybe it's not so easy still. Like you don't want bishop before because the diagonal is actually going to be mate. So that's actually an interesting question. So how do you react if white plays just rook c1, right? The bishop is pinned. Probably rook c5 is going to be the next one. Okay, I got it on the board as well. Maybe, yeah, I think like something like bishop c5 is gonna be happening. Okay, she played faster. She's playing faster than I'm talking. Okay, because I'm really slow today, and like I'm doing this round on my own. So let's check the other boards. So here, wow, look at that, so many changes. Okay, that's exactly the kind of that was the game that we. Wow, g4 is a very aggressive move, but I'm not sure. I mean, that's weakening. That's a really weakening your own king, so it's kind of double-edged, and it completely changed. So I think in this position, white must be a little better, because but the pawn structure is such a mess that it's kind of hard to guess who's better or worse. Now, if I were black, I would either try to attack something on b2 directly, like with a move something like rook b8, or I could also try to do like rook d8 instead, right? So like you want to kind of challenge white, at least exchange one rook. That's probably always going to be in black's favor in this position, because like otherwise f7 can get under attack, like after something like, let's say, f3, or yeah, like even rook e1, e4, c4. So like you probably want to exchange one pair of rooks. So I would play probably rook d8 and then attack another pawn and see, like, white is better. I mean, I think there is no question about it. White is better. Let's look at this board, because here something is really weird happening. So because white is really low on time, the position is yeah, probably about equal-ish. I don't know, like probably if anyone is better, it's probably still white because he has better chance of pushing his pawn majority on the queen side, and like black doesn't get any kind of invasion points, and e5 is really control for good. But yeah, okay, the question is like, does white have a lot, right? Like if you just play bishop b5, exchange everything, can you claim white has any advantage? Not really. So let's see, I think like time is going to be a big factor here. This board, the last board, okay. I think, yeah, well, at the very beginning, black is a pawn up, which is unfortunate. So something happened somewhere in the process where we were like looking at this d4. Wow. d4, why? Oh, like you cannot take because of knight b4. That was the point. Okay, that's probably, again, worth putting that on the board. I did not see that move. That's an interesting decision. So she went d4, and the idea is probably this. And then if you move out, you take on d3, and then you probably also take on d4. e4 is, no, everything is like collapsing. You cannot take. So she had to go back instead. And okay, but then black is already saying, okay, I got that move in. So for free, essentially. And somewhere around this point also, so she exchanged. Why not play c4? I mean, I would definitely want to see c4 here. Okay, and then you even can think of f4, maybe not immediately, maybe like h3 first. And if black plays b5, you can take, or you can even play b3 maybe. I don't know. I mean, like c4 looks natural, but instead she did this, and I think she just missed that d3 was hanging. Yeah, and she was like left the pawn down. That's unfortunate, but okay, it's still not the end of the world. And she has more time. So in rapid chess, anything can still happen. So fingers crossed we'll still see more. I mean, okay, well, black is still better, obviously, comfortably better, and the pawn up. Let's move back to the first board. We haven't seen it in a while. So it's, wow, very complicated position. And I'm not even sure. Oh, wait a second. I realized I disappeared from the screen. I need to switch on the light. It's getting really late here. So, how do we assess this position? It's actually a very tricky one. I think I would probably prefer black because I actually don't see how white is going to develop. And of all pieces on the board, I think bishop f1 is probably the worst. It might get better. I mean, bishop g6 is also not exactly great, but you can at least exchange it any moment you want, right? And then you can, let's just exchange it, and then black plays something like, let's say, I'm just kind of guessing here, like, well, I don't want to actually. Now I'm allowing too much for white. I mean, like I wanted d3, it looks juicy, and like queen e5, but I think white is already. That's probably a little bit of an improvement for white. Even though, again, even in this position, black is definitely comfortably better. Knight d3 is still a threat, and then you still have plenty of weaknesses in white's camp. So like, and you can have c6, you can get this knight somewhere, somehow. Yeah, probably not that easy, but probably I would play black here at any, yeah, like black is for choice. Time is again an issue, as we already kind of gotten used to kind of time troubles. Let's check back in here. Okay, I'm not sure exactly what's going on here. So like he did not exchange. He decided to, even though like I find it hard to see why white wants to keep all the pieces on the board. Like you will have to exchange it on it at some point in time, sooner or later. You know, like there is no way around it. Wow. Now that's a power move. Bishop d4. Look at that. Look at that. It's like it. So like, okay, let's just show Why you cannot take that? Is it really losing? I mean, okay, well, you at least can. It's not that trivial, actually. You probably want to play then something like Rook A8, but that white just sacrificed a lot, you know. Just it's a full. Oh! Wait a second. No, that thing also doesn't work. I can always exchange here. I was thinking like mate on H8. No, but it's not threatened. And now white is probably losing. Either way I go, like even let's say E6 or E4. So why can't white? Like why can't it just take? Look at that. We just got demonstrated that. Oh my goodness, look at me. And black fell into that, just like I did. Oh my goodness, this is fantastic. This is such a that's a brilliancy right there. Like this is like this needs to be kind of real applause for the winner, because like this is just beautiful. Look at that. By the way, I think like already here, like Rook E8 was probably faster mate, right? Wasn't it? But either way, it's like so he saw that he can take here, and black cannot go H8 or G7 because then there is like check and you pick up on C7. So like after that, you don't need to calculate. This is fantastic. This is really nice win. Really like Queen D5 is a really Bishop D4 is it's a difficult shot. Wow, really impressive. Okay, congratulations. So that's 1 point for us in this match. That's fantastic. Something changed in the first board really dramatically while we were talking. Oh, Rook D5. So okay, white decided to go for broke because he realized his position is worse. He's trying to change the character of the game with this kind of a sacrifice of the exchange. And yeah, you can make the argument white really improved his position dramatically. Now he can, let's just play E4. And unless you can quickly kind of, no, black is still better anyway. So like as long like you did not allow, you still have this blockade. Bishop and G2 is still a stupid piece. So no, black is better. But converting that is going to be interesting. So let's look at this game. Wow, there is so much happening in our match. Okay, white has to take. Black looks like winning. Like Rook F7 maybe. Bishop D4. I don't even know where to start. G4. No, G4 is exchange. Yeah, probably Rook F7. Something like this, you know. And then G4 is a threat. And okay, she does something else. I'm probably going to play G4 now. Yes. Okay, that looks like a good winning chances by all means and purpose. Well, yeah, that's the downside. You see, like the rook now cannot really join the game. Ooh, that can go either way. That can totally go either way. Okay, Bishop F4 is really something you want to play, but the rook is hanging. So yeah, like I think that probably you had to start with Rook F7 first. Okay, let's check what else. We lost on the last board, unfortunately. So yeah, okay, well, there was an end game. There was still like 1 or 2 pieces pawns down, and then at some point in time, black just basically exchanged everything, and yeah, lost. That's okay. Ooh, yikes, that's scary. Can he hold it? So that's the only question that is really matters, but I'm afraid he can't. Like white probably is going to sacrifice C7. So you really need to calculate C7, King D7. Yeah, okay, we are probably just going to see it on the board. It's all very natural. Take. Ooh, yikes! But he can play. Can he play King E6 and then G5? I think that's going to be an interesting game. Again, like we need to calculate. Let's check out the boards. Here, you need to move back the king. So yep, so that there is no check. If these pawns are exchanged, it's a draw. It's like a automatic, absolutely bulletproof draw. The question is, can you, yeah, like, can black do anything? Actually, I was thinking like maybe I would even put the, yeah, you can do that, but does it make any difference? Like she just wants to move all the way to b6 with the king. And that's unpleasant. I don't see what white can do. That's actually a very difficult endgame. Okay, what was here? Oh yikes! Again, like there were more changes. Bishop c3, bishop c, or rook d2. Oh yikes! Yikes! This is not going our way now. Uh, Something like rook c2 is now hanging in the air. Oh, whoa! I would never do that. Why? Is she winning something? Why exchange? Oh my! Oh me! Oh my! Why rook c? Why queen c8? Wow, that's unbelievable. Okay. Wow, good news. So Mr. Teen won on the first board. So he did convert it after all. So white tried, yeah, like okay, like basically he broke the pawn chain, and then like white also lost extra pawn. Okay, after that it was just a matter of congratulations. So this is fantastic. Well, leading to 1, I think there is winning chances here at the very least. Maybe good winning chances. I don't know. Can you play? Oh, like damn! I really wanted to play rook d3 here. Um, yeah, that sounded like was a good idea, but maybe not. Okay, so bishop d4. That's a difficult thing. Like okay, she cannot go forward because of the rook h2, and that thing is hanging, but it's not a victory yet. Now she's giving up the pawn. Why? Can white take it? I think she can just take it, but she doesn't want to. Okay, now she's defending. Okay, that's probably gonna take a while. That game, unfortunately, yep, quickly resulted in a loss. What about this one? What? What? Did he just lose on time? Oh my! Oh me! Oh my! How can you lose on time with? Oh wow! Maybe a disconnect. Wow, that's a lucky break. If that's indeed what happened, I don't know. I mean, like this is wow, wow. Uh, okay, and now actually in this game, it almost doesn't matter if wow, what the turn of events. It really doesn't matter if black wins or loses or draws. Oh, white not g2. I mean, come on, I would play g2 at an instant. Oh, okay, that was actually a bad idea. Sorry, my bad. Um, the thing is that it almost doesn't matter if white uh, saves the games or not, as long as black doesn't lose it, we're winning the match. The problem is she doesn't know it, right? So that was something that Sergei Mavsisyan mentioned in the broadcast yesterday. So like you playing online, and the difference between that and the regular Olympiad is that like you don't know the outcome on the other boards. You don't see them, so you just keep on playing. And also, like you only have 5 seconds increment, so it's not exactly that you would even have the time to stand up and check what's the score, right? And like let's say like if you're having another window to check on chess results, they don't update it that often. I think this is actually petering out to a draw now because like white attacked on d6. There is no g2 tricks, unfortunately. And so like basically the only thing you can do is like play rook d2 and then like white exchanges everything, and okay, that's a draw. That's a nice trick. She's doing like now Chang Eun, she's trying to do like let's probably show it on the board. That was a nasty one. So the point was, I didn't see how black can defend the pawn, but she did. G2, and suddenly white can resign because you cannot take, and that's a discover check, right? That was fun. But it unfortunately doesn't change the situation too much because, white is still controlling these 2 key squares. So unless you can come up with another nice trick. Oh, wait a second. What's going on here? It's changing so rapidly, like I cannot keep up. So she did check G2 and bishop H3. And okay, now it's probably, now it's just a draw. Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness. No, talk about tricky. My goodness. No, she's great. I mean, like, okay, how many games I lost to her myself like that? Okay, with the next rook, it is winning. Wow. One final trick. Oh, my way. Oh, it's unbelievable. Well, congratulations. So it is over. And Singapore won this match by 4-2. I say, could she save it still? I mean, of course she could. She could play rook g4 check first, right? And then like black takes, white takes, and that's a draw. Ooh, one. You know, like what? I remember like when I was growing up, we had like there was a book like The Last Trap, right? And that's exactly what happened here. You're like, okay, well, it is a draw. Let me show you one extra thing that probably white could do. Like I was thinking the rook g2, right? And okay, when you're playing on second, you see rook takes b3, and it's a bishop. And maybe she just like instinctively decide, oh, like wait a second, I'm losing a bishop. She does not actually here because these and these like again, these like a draw, like no matter what you do, right? But you see rook b3 check, and you're seeing that you're losing a bishop. You don't see extra move, right? And so she instinctively took with a bishop. So like either rook g4 check or rook g2, I think was drawing. Again, unless I'm missing something. But yeah, there you go. That's chess. And like you're on move 80, and with seconds to go, and you're setting one last trap. So this is really something. This is really impressive. Now, the only question that I have now, like when you come to think of it, when she played king d3, why not just take the rook right away? Okay, that would be probably a little stronger than g2. But okay, it all worked out in the end. It all well, what ends well. So congratulations to Singapore team, 4-2, another victory. And let's just check the scoreboard. I actually have a scoreboard somewhere here. Let's just try to refresh it. Oh me, oh my, that was something. So 4-2 we win against essentially a higher rating team. So congratulations to Team Singapore. This is really well done and a huge improvement over yesterday. It's a much more pleasant commentator experience, I would say. Let me make it a little bigger. So let's check there. We advanced in the board, so we now have 4 match points. There are still some matches that are going on. Romania is leading. So the match with Greece is 3-3. But other than that, they are really kind of steamrolling the position. Slovakia also drew here, but they lost to Romania. So that's what happened. Like in the previous round, they just lost to Romania, right? So that's probably what happened. So again, let's check. Yep. So they drew this here. That's an interesting one. Okay, sorry, I should have made this bigger because now you cannot really see it properly. I probably can make it a little bigger. Yeah, like that. 3-3, Romania completely demolished Thailand, 6-0. We won 4-2. Israel is still playing. So, yeah, it's actually, we don't know how it's going to play out. It's still, all 3 match results are possible, at least in paper. I don't see the positions. Okay, so either way, it's a little bit kind of surprising outcome. It did work out for us in this round, so congratulations to Team Singapore. So, yeah, someone saying like we love Austria. I mean, we obviously love all the countries that we are defeating. But okay, so we knew that it is going to be a little easier today. But yeah, like Austria, I was expecting victory against Thailand. Again, just looking at the lineups on paper, we're stronger. Again, rapid, anything can happen. I was not expecting a victory, especially with such a good margin against Austria, so that's a pleasant surprise. So now brace up for the last match of the day, starting in 10 minutes. We're going to play against Israel, a team that has plenty of grandmasters on their roster. So like let's check. Like they have Rothstein, Maxim Rothstein, Elias Mirin, like a young and a more experienced players. Tamir Nabati is another grandmaster, going to be playing on board four. Israel Kaspi is also like a kind of a grandmaster level player, and they have strong players on the women board. So yeah, it's going to be tough, but okay. So at least we already implemented like the what like let's say mandatory program. So anything in the last round is a bonus. So stay tuned. We're going to go live in 10 minutes, and yeah, so get back and let's cheer for Singapore team in the last match of the day when we're going to play against Israel in 10 minutes from now. Okay, time for a small break. All right, we're back in action. Let's change the flag for the next round. We're playing Israel. And let's check the outcomes of the previous round. So Israel actually drew the previous match, surprisingly. I think that's probably going to be a surprise for quite a few folks there. So as you can see, like when we were breaking for after the last round, that was still being played, and one way or the other, the match actually ended in a draw. Even though like the Israel was again like on paper outranking the players from the International Federation of the Physically Challenged players. So there you go. So that actually changes the table quite significantly. So suddenly Israel is going to be pushing down the standings, and it puts them at risk. Like I need to remind everybody that only the main thing that all the teams are playing for is for qualification to the next division, and only 3 teams are making that to the next round, right? Like just like we qualified to Division 2 from Division 3. And okay, for us, it's still a long way to go. on the positive side, it seems like we actually played with the toughest team already in the first round, one by one. So it was a tough start. But obviously, Israel is also going to be a difficult challenge for our team. So let's see what round 6 is bringing us, and let's start looking at the game. There are changes in our lineup. So okay, I need to go back and again create this kind of a magic string for kind of checking the so that we're looking at the right boards. So give me a second. I'm going to switch to another screen and kind of just check. So we're having Fenkun on board. Was it 4? And we have Lauren writes on the last board. Okay, so let's just check. Okay, I guess that's okay, let me switch to different viewer now. So switching that off and switching these on. I am still here. That's what my chess.com is asking me. Okay, I already see the new boards, but I will just rebuild it just to make sure that we have all 6 boards at once. And fingers crossed, I did everything right this time. Yay, I did. So better than round 2. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. Already the first board. So Tingjin Yao playing against Tamir Nabati, also like a relatively young and very highly rated grandmaster from Israel, and they are already kind of the very first moves are kind of he's not hiding his intentions. He's like playing for offbeat opening. He's playing with black, but to win. Okay, well, it's after d5, it's a little bit more difficult to make that argument, and now it's kind of you get some version of a3 Nimta Indian, like what they call Kasparov Petrosyan variation here. I think it was when I was growing up, they were just calling it Petrosyan, even though Kasparov played a lot of them. I played that with white, so at least for once I will be able to have some knowledge of the openings, even dated. I mean, like I dropped that line because white doesn't get advantage in that line. We need to be very clear about it, but it leads to interesting play. Second board, okay, like don't pay attention to the rating, so you're looking at also like a young and talented player. And by the way, one announcement I need to make is unfortunately I was supposed to be joined for this round with Israel by another player who is actually right now based in Israel. So Nathan Elfred. So I mean, some of you might have known him when he was living and working here in Singapore. He's a FIDE master, a chess player, and on top of everything else, he's also a rabbi, right? So he was here with the synagogue, kind of on. He just moves around the world as a man of faith. And so, unfortunately, he couldn't make it today at the last moment. So he just sent me a message that something came up urgently, that he sends his regards. So it will be me for the rest of the day. But okay, so let's make it more comfortable here and see what the games are bringing us. It's going to be it's going to be definitely a very interesting match. So we are looking at board 3, and so far, I must say that Chen Yun Gong was our best scorer, right? So I think like in most games, I actually didn't check, but like off the top of my head, it sounds like she's probably our top scorer. Let me actually quickly look at that and see if my gut feeling is like kind of letting me down or not. Well, I think she is. She scored 3.5 points out of 5 so far, and that's the highest number of points in the whole team, right? So Hazel and Shingaun are 2.5 out of 4. So that would be the other players with a positive score, like +1, right? So here for it's like +2. So she lost 1, won 3. Anyway, her opponent is Julia Schweiger. Yeah, also once in a while I come across people I know. I think I even played her in one of the opens. That was a long time before when I was playing. I was living in Germany and I was playing in Obanay. I'm pretty sure I played her, even though I don't remember the outcome. She's a strong player, international master, on top of like the women's titles. She is, if I'm not mistaken, she's also the wife of the Grandmaster Arkady Naidich. I need to double check my memory. But yeah, I think that's correct. So, and yeah, so what we have here is the sideline of the Sicilian, which seems to be very popular here in Singapore. And okay, well, I think there are many different ways of playing that, and I constantly walk into the prepared lines here. Like after something like night, well, maybe let me just put on the board. And I think like if Junior Tay is watching us right now, he's probably laughing at me because like that's something that I'm constantly kind of walking into. But let's say something like that. I remember like there is like this some kind of a crazy line like these knight g5, and suddenly it's very difficult for black. That's all I remember in this line. So don't quote me on that. Don't follow my advice in this opening or in most openings. Not my strength. So, but yeah, like basically black is probably playing something a little more accurate. So trying to kind of get hold of d4, develop, get another knight to c6. But it's not so easy, right? And like basically that's exactly what's happening. White is immediately challenging that. c3, g6, b3. My only question is like, is it really that much for white? I mean, like, let's say bishop g7, bishop d2, and that's probably already happening on the board as I'm talking. And what? Maybe b4, b5. I don't know. I again, don't quote me on openings. I hope that the both players here know more than I do in opening, so we'll see what's happening there. Okay, let's move on. On the first board, we are getting like a pretty standard. It's actually somehow transposed now into really looks like a Queen's Gambit declined. Pretty standard, but I don't think black has any problems here. Like he already pushed c5. No weaknesses, no isolated pawn, like he'll just go 97. But okay, like not to say white is struggling either. So it's probably very equal. This game, oh, okay. So now she's answering my question that I was like kind of rhetorical question that I was posing in in my commentary. So why is this playing? Like she's not playing for d4. She's actually playing, and you see, like I would be tricked the same way. Yeah. So our player is very, very tricky here in all games. So yeah, so how black castles and actually how black completes development for that matter, right? That's probably going to be the question of the day. Black should probably do something like knight e5, I would say. I mean, you can also play bishop f8. I mean, it's probably also not the end of the world, at least not immediately. But okay, in this case, White at least can win a tempo. Can play bishop b2, and at least she won the tempo. Okay, that's interesting. So let's hope that there is some advantage there. And for you guys at home who are watching that with a, well, okay, so she just played bishop f8. For you who are watching that with engines, you're probably kind of, you already all know the answer for that, but I don't. So like, as a matter of principle here, I'm commenting that with everything, with my own brain. And at 8 p.m. is actually probably not the best idea, but okay, we're still doing that the old school way. Okay, board 4. Feng Kun is playing with black, and the position is very symmetrical, and knight on d2 is probably not a great piece. You usually want to have it on c3. Let's look how it actually all started. So White played one of these very slow, very like, like this kind of a, now you got me thinking. If I remember correctly, White just blundered and black didn't take it. And I swear you that's exactly the same. What was the game? I think it was Kramnik playing versus Gelfand in, I think, candidates matches. And they did exactly the same. And I think, I don't remember like what Kramnik did, but I think that was played. So just take queen d4, and that's a pawn. I mean, okay. White can probably still argue that that's not the end of the world. Play knight c3 and I don't know, like e4, d4, something like that. But it's a pawn. Okay, so I'd take it. But again, I mean, okay, I'm. This is also a matter of taste, a matter of choice. I was always growing up myself, that's a strength and a weakness. I've been always very materialistic, and I was fond of grabbing pawns if I don't see immediate refutation. So like, and I sometimes it did backfire for me very badly. But I think if I remember correctly, that did happen in a literal like a Kramnik versus Gelfand game. And somebody has a chess base. You can look it up, or let's just like look up this variation, like after d takes c4. I think that has been played before, and I think that's a pawn black could have taken. But okay, there is nothing wrong also like playing slowly. The only thing, especially in this situation, like White even played b3, so there is no queen b3. So like, why not develop the bishop first? I mean, obviously not on e6. Scratch that. f5. Go there. Bishop b2, e6, and you get everything the same, but you solve the problem of the bad bishop, right? So like e6, I don't like. Again, not to say impossible, really bad, but I don't see why not. Like sometimes it really can go badly. Let's say like White played immediately this, and let's say just like for the sake of argument, these. Okay, that can be difficult, sure. But White played b3 already, so in this position I would probably play bishop f5. Anyway, it's all water under the bridge. Black is just developing. White is developing. I don't know like why not to play g4. I probably would have played it. Like you're getting really good Catalan opening with black, like didn't prevent natural development. You played d4, knight c3, then you play for e2, e4, and you get advantage. Oh, maybe not huge advantage, but some. White is playing for a longer game, and okay, like basically black was allowed to play c6, c5. And okay, like I know like I'm already probably said too much about this game and like things I would have differently, but I would definitely start by taking here. Take here, and after that your bishop will never be bad, And White cannot play d5, cannot take it on c5 probably is no big deal. So just continue developing. Maybe even like rook c8, After that, you can, as long as you can get the queen out of the center, you'll be all right. Okay, so probably spending too much time on these opening, and it probably has moved on significantly since then. Let's double check. Not really. It's still black is actually very much okay. Like play bishop f6 maybe, unless I'm getting under something like e4, e5. Okay, and I am. No, that's a bad idea. Um, what do you do here? It's one of those positions where you're either quickly getting in trouble, or I mean, probably rook c8. I would probably that in this case. I would prefer rook c8. I don't want to get on the e4, e5, and kind of then white can establish an outpost on d6, or sometimes c6 is weak. Yeah, it's still not completely equal, so still some problems to solve, and that takes some time as well. That's also oh yikes! What's what's going on here, people? Ooh, did he just blunder a piece? Oh me, oh my goodness! I'm afraid he did. That's resignable. Yikes! I can only, yeah, like whatever. I can only say like I'm feeling really sorry for Chinga. It's very unfortunate. I I I mean, didn't happen to me that often, or at least like in the serious games. But like as a again, like another personal anecdote, I was playing once in a grandmaster tournament. Like I was playing it with in a tournament with a grandmaster. No, bad idea, not my level. It was also my worst tournament ever. I started by losing, I think, like 5 or 6 games in a row. Horrible. But the reason why I'm telling this story, in the first round, it's something very similar to that happened, right? So basically, I don't remember the opening, but the model was like black took on b2 with the bishop, and then what he means like queen e2 b5 check, and like they attacking on e8 and b2. Yeah, 8 moves, I'm afraid, is going to be the shortest loss. Yeah, that's, I don't know what he means. Maybe he means that black takes on h5 first. Yeah. Okay. Well, a moment of silence for this game. Unfortunately, that didn't go our way. All right. Switching to board 6. Look at that. This is very unusual. I've never seen people playing knight c6 here. So usually, like if you do that, you just play d5, right? So first of all, like after c3, first of all, e6 is probably not the most popular move. People play knight f6, e5, knight d5, and then there is like heaps of theory. Or people play d5, ed, queen d5, using this moment that like because c3 is taken, like the queen cannot be attacked. E6 people play, but rarely for a very funny reason. I think you can. This is totally playable, but you need to be ready that after e5 it's suddenly not a Sicilian opening, but not Sicilian defense, but French. And how many Sicilian players do you know that are also comfortable with French? They're completely different opening. So yeah, like so like people play knight c6, but sorry, d5, knight c6. Yeah, it does invite d5, and I'm not even sure that it's not. Is it really that bad even? Okay, let's check. So d5 is like being asked to be played. Knight e5. Here it gets really weird for me because like after queen e2, queen e7. Oh, okay. So I was thinking like d6. That's actually a stupid move. Knight d3 check, and if anyone is winning, it's black, and it is actually black that's winning. So the queen is pinned. You cannot go, so you have to play something like this. Then I take, and then I don't even know what do you take it with. Oh, I mean, horrible. No, bad. So d6 is not an option. Maybe that's what white realized as well. And by the way, I'm not sure you want to play knight e2, sorry, queen e2 here. Maybe something like d6, maybe. I don't know. So there you go. Bishop e3, and then black plays d6, kind of also natural, and white decided to untangle like this. Never seen such an unusual position from like almost get-go. Queen d5 is actually unpleasant. Cannot play this. You don't want to play queen d7 because then you just throw back, and then bishop b5 is in the air suddenly. And also the question what the queen is doing on d7 is not trivial. So yeah, like knight d7 is probably best, but then white is just developing. And I think the key question is that can you take this pawn? And I think the answer is no. Very simple. Can you or can you not? Maybe you still can. I'm thinking for something like this. I go here. Let's say white is dropping somewhere. Like if, oh no, queen a4. No, queen a4, I can go something like this again. No, it's actually really scary. I mean, like I wouldn't believe myself in this variation. No, I had some ideas like there with a bishop e6, but okay, forget it. Too scary. Queen d8, but then okay, now white can really claim she's a little better. Not too much though. Like if black completes development, plays bishop e7, castles, and then you can start attacking here. e5 is square. I don't know. Looks playable. And looks very interesting actually for all I know. Rook e1. Ooh, look at that. What's going on here? So she played bishop c5. That's yeah, that I missed that. So let's see. You cannot take on c5 because then d6, and it's really bad. Bad. So a6 is called for. And the thing is, white has to play on a4, otherwise you will take with the knight. I want to play b5, but then white just, well, let's just calculate for a second. Why not? She has to take. I don't see anything else. I take, she takes, and I take again. And I'm threatening this. And it's two pieces for a rook and 2 pawns. And that can be anything, really. But what's the white's next move? I think that's the question. And I actually really like it for black. I think I can go next with something like for example, king c2 is just losing, okay, discovered. And you can go king b1 at any moment as well. So like this can be really bad for white. Okay, she probably has to play something like rook e3, and then we will start pestering her from the other side. That can be really interesting for us. Is it happening? Okay, does she find b4? That's the question. She needs to find b4 for all of that to happen. Sorry, b5, right? The question is, do you challenge your opponent from the first move, especially in such an unclear position, like such an unusual position? Just to make sure that list other options. Black can also castle, and it's playable, but then you're not challenging white as directly as you get back your pawn. And I hope there are no tricks like bishop g7 doesn't work. So yeah, it's okay. It's just about equal, right? And black is still doing okay. But I would really want to see b5 on the board. I don't know. Okay, let's check what else. In this position, so remember we were talking like this is not so simple. And you can see Fenkun, unfortunately, is burning time. And by now it is better for white. There is no way around it. So let's say, oh, yay, that can be really bad really quickly. Or maybe not, but it's unpleasant. Suddenly it's really unpleasant. So I think what happened here was she was trying to get, yeah, so she got under this e4, e5 kind of a steamroller, like the pawn pushes barges down the board, and that's it. Hello, once again. Can you hear me now? I'm seeing messages in the chat that you cannot hear me. Can somebody type if you can hear me? Let's say, can someone hear me? I'm not sure. Today was like a really bad technology day. Okay, well, let's see. That, yeah, she did castle. Unfortunately, she didn't play b7, b5. That's too bad. I think that was probably a good chance to do that. Press something wrong. Sorry, I didn't want to press that. I think on this board we are struggling. Not like as in losing, struggling, but like, let's say there are problems. On this board, wow, what a mess. I have no idea who's better in this position, at least not immediately. But let's check. I think black is actually not doing too badly. But okay, so I think at some point, like I would probably play rook c1, and then I would want to, no, rook c1, I'm just losing a piece, sorry. Okay, second try. Okay, rook e c1. Yeah, but it's not the same. So you see, like what I wanted to do, I wanted to play rook e6, and I think that could have been a good idea. I'm not saying it was, but rook e c1. So now black can take on b5, maybe. Can she? I think she can. Yeah. Okay. So people are hearing me. So it looks like it's not. So maybe it's like an isolated technical issue at least. At least we are continuing our broadcast. Okay, so complicated. I think white still has a pawn, but it doesn't matter too much. It's probably more important who can kind of take over the key squares. I don't like this idea, like black can play knight d6 and then knight e4, and can be unpleasant. Alrighty, what else? That's French game. That's line I never understood. I mean, like I literally, and believe me, I tried. Like I see, we could really use Kevin here. I even annotated some of the old but classical, battles between, Botvinnik and Smyslov, and they were playing these line like forever, right? But okay, well, I still don't understand the position because it's so unbalanced. Like you don't even know where to look. Pawns don't matter. Safety is really kind of all upside down. If I need to, if I have to venture a guess, and I think I have to venture a guess here, I would say black is doing okay. Pawns are equal. Usually, white has the pawn further down the board. Like you might not believe it, but it's actually this pawn is one of the best chances for white to take over. Like black king is not under attack. I still don't know what's going on there, but I think it's probably we should be pretty happy as a black player with this position. I see that there is, yeah, okay, well, she did fall into this. Oh, that was actually nice. That was a nice trap for black. I'm afraid that was not going our way. Yeah, so she checked, and then yeah, basically the idea is like if you take on f6, bishop takes f6, and it's mate. Nice tactics, and okay, it's one of these situations where your position is bad, and that's why tactics work. So unfortunately, we are losing 2-0. Right now, the match is not going our way so far, but let's see. So in this position, we anything can happen. Here, okay, well, we had a pawn down for no obvious compensation. Well, no compensation. Let me correct myself. And h2 and g2 are a problem now. So basically, black pushes b5. Okay, he's threatening knight d6 or rook b7, so that's a nice one. So black probably has to play b4. And then the question is, can you get something out of this activity, like knight d6, knight c4, knight e5? You can do that. So you see that, right? So basically, so knight d6, and he just played it, and then he's going to play knight c4. No, it actually can be all right. And black probably needs to go in these directions, which he probably does not want to go, because these will go on the check. So probably knight e7, because if he goes here, oh, it's actually, it's not, no, sorry, stupid. But he can check now, right? And then play knight d7. And he defended everything, at least for the moment. But now you play rook b7, and you're threatening this. e5 is hanging. So I don't know. It's actually not that simple. Well, now king d8 is in order. And what do you do with my knight d6, maybe? Knight a5, king c8, I didn't like. You can also play, by the way, the opposite direction. You could go knight d2 and try to attack that pawn with a king, like get the, oh no, you cannot do it. So yeah, probably knight d6. Oh, he played something completely different. So, okay, his point is, okay, like show me what you do. Show me what you got. King c8, knight d6 check. b3, knight d2. Knight c5, at least I can take these pawns, and like that's why h4 you're getting a little closer. Interesting. Interesting. So this position continues developing in all sorts of unclear directions. A3, so I think black next moves are kind of easy to predict. So he's playing d4. Oh, by the way, one thing I didn't realize, sorry, my bad, I didn't count the pieces on the board. So black is actually an exchange now, but it's almost irrelevant. It's really like who is more, like it's more about the pawns here. It's like d4 probably now. Oh no, he checks first. The point being, like, you cannot play bishop e3 because I'm playing d4 anyway. But why do you want bishop queen on c5 necessarily? Oh, I know why. So he wants like to play d4, and after that, or maybe even like d4 and knight b4, and he wants to cover c4, and he wants to play bishop b5. No, that's, I don't see like why. I don't see like, maybe unless, no, I don't think bishop e3 can ever work. So yeah, okay. I think black is pushing. Black is pushing. So that's good news here. This game is still, okay, white is fighting. So like we are worse, but we are fighting. This game still, like, you know, like the best I can say, like as in the old days, unclear. No, okay, now I think black should be better. You know, just take on d5, and what white has. Like rook c4 probably. Oh, she even took on d5. Wow, no, okay, I didn't see that. Didn't see that coming. Okay, interesting. Interesting. So okay, all bets are off, I would say. You know, like here, like we are talking about players at 1 minute each. So whoever, oh, look at that. He actually decided to sacrifice. So he sacrificed the full piece. he sacrificed a piece for 2 pawns, but okay. Well, that's actually a smart move because, and I didn't see that, and that's why that guy is an international master and I'm not. Yeah, but actually black is still probably for choice because you can still push b5, a5, b4. The rook needs to go somewhere, and after that you can also like let's say it moves out. Yeah, okay, there is only one way out here. He's right. You know the stupid question like, can you even take on, let's say, on b3, f3, and kind of what would be the pawn endgame like? I don't know. I mean, you probably don't want it, but would be interesting. No, it's actually not easy for black. Not easy at all. Maybe rook d5 to kind of. The thing is like the pieces are a bit tangled here. Okay, let's check what's happening on the last board. Ooh, wow, whoa, whoa, oh, wow, what's going on there? What a mess! Take on d2. Take on d2. Come on, it was a double attack. Take on d2 steal. Okay, well, black is winning. Check. Intermediate check. Yay! She's finding all the moves. Like queen c2. I think she's winning. Like, oh, I really fingers crossed. But okay, like so much material, she gotta be winning. Unless she's missing like bishop c2. Why not take the rook? Bishop c2. Okay. And I got it. So I think white is probably resigning. Yes! Yes! Congratulations to Lauren. So the first point for Singapore. So, and yes, I was totally expecting rook d7. I must say that. I mean, like this is the player we know, and I think white is winning, by the way. No, rook e7. Damn. And then check. I think white is still winning actually, because I think that rook on a2 is got to fall. No, queen f5. What? No, queen f5 was not winning. Damn. I'm not seeing the moves. 95. Yes. Yes. I think this is victory, guys. I think this is it. I think she's done it. Now, oh my goodness, like I'm sounding like what do you call it? Like a football and like not just a football commentator, but like a Spanish football commentator right now. Like I don't remember chess being that exciting when you're watching Magnus Carlsen playing. So yeah, I think that's it. Okay, let's check the other boards. Okay, well that's not going too well for us, I'm afraid. But okay, still there is like black still has technical difficulties for sure. Because like he still needs to kind of get his pieces over there, but okay, it's not great. So right now it's 2-2 each. And guys, I mean, come on, like you got to be kidding. I mean, 50 seconds and an extra queen. Why white is still playing? Guys, I mean, like this is almost to the point of being. I know it's like a team tournament and everything, but it's not polite, I would say, from the Israel player. Okay. So I think it really goes down to whether Jing Yao can save this difficult endgame with 9 seconds to boot. Right, so it's yeah, okay, well, I mean, guys, it's like this is already going for like probably 10 moves more than it should have. What happened there? Like, let's check how did he, because like when we were looking at this, it looks still, okay, he started pushing pawns and white started pushing pawns. And it just so happened that black was faster. Right? I mean, that's the whole story. Oh, I see. That's what he missed. So rook a1, knight c2. That's what he missed. And otherwise, knight b1 is closing over. So yeah, okay. And okay, like it's probably that looks already lost to me maybe because yeah, how do you stop the pawn? Okay. In the meantime, it looks like Jingyao did not survive it, and yeah, okay. Well, but basically, I think like what happened. You see, like it's also very typical. So the grandmaster that was playing black just spent like 1.5 minutes in rapid game, no less, to calculate to the end like the variation. That's what happened. And yeah, and I think here already rook g2 was also winning. But okay, he just much quicker. Yeah, like he just you cannot go here queen knight g3 either way. So I'm afraid that yeah, he lost the game. But if I'm not mistaken, the match ended in a draw, right? So let's double check. I think we actually did score 3 victories here, didn't we? Let's double check. So Liu Xiangyi won. Our best scorer won as well, so I can actually checkmate on the board. No, this game we lost. This was unfortunate loss, but that was a victory. So yep, the match ended with a draw, 3-3. So let's maybe check on the scoreboard. Let me just go all the way there. So, okay, well, they did not update all the matches yet, so we don't know the outcomes of other teams, but so that means that we are going to have, but okay, interesting, they already put 5 match points, even though they didn't put 3 points on the board. That's interesting. And what else happened in the 6th round? Okay, Latvia won. We drew. Romania, Austria, it looks like it's down to the, okay, well, in other games, in other matches, we don't know the final results. Although it's interesting that Austria seems to be close to, like, we don't know what's happening on this board, but potentially Austria could save a point, a match point. But yeah, I mean, for everyone who's, was still with us on the line, congratulations. It has been a much, more pleasant day for the Singapore fans. So we scored 2 victories and 1 draw in 3 matches. So 5 match points out of 6. Fantastic efforts. Congratulations to all the everyone who played today for Singapore. It was against strong opponents. Okay, maybe you can argue that the opponents we had on day 1 were still the strongest of those that we were facing in this group, but still, it's a really commendable effort both on day 1 and on day 2. It's just like the outcome is more nice for us on Saturday than it used to be on Friday. So that's the good news. So yeah, I think with that we are going to stop and tomorrow we are having the last 3 rounds, and I'm still going to do the live commentary tomorrow. So please join me at 6 p.m. And yeah, I hope by tomorrow I'm going to fix all the technical glitches that we had today, and it's going to be a little better. But other than that, thanks everyone who was staying on the line. Congratulations once again on the great result for the Singaporean team, and see you tomorrow. Thanks everyone. Bye bye.